Guys, welcome to my YouTube channel QA Explainer. So guys, today on this video I'll explain you the manual testing concepts and how many different types of testings are available in manual testing domain. So regarding this, so guys, let me explain this overall concept in a layman point of view. And like if if this video is helpful for you, please like and subscribe my channel, because I have seen like lots of people are not subscribe my channel but they are seeing the videos. Please do subscribe, do like, so I can be stay consistent in YouTube and I can also contribute like knowledge in testing community. So guys, let's start this video. So what is manual testing, guys? So manual testing is nothing but a testing process for where that we are checking the software manually. So, but we are checking the software without even using any automation tool. So there is some kind of process is there, process in the sense of we can refer the test cases, we can refer the different kind of uh, like browser, different kind of tools where that we are manually configure the tools in such a way like that user can use. So basically manual testing is an approach where we are checking that our software without using any kind of automation tool. Now, automation tool and normal tool both are different, guys. Normal tool in the sense of suppose one application is there. We want to check the data flow between the database and that application. So for that, we need tools. Tools in the sense of we need to connect with database. We need to connect with that different kind of servers, and then we need to check that API is working or not. We need to check that data is flowing from database to our UI or not. So these kind of things we need to check. So here tools are important, guys, but not automation tool. Now this approach is very essential for software development lifecycle, because without testing, if you are pushing that code to production, it will be that production server and it will destroy the user experience, and sometimes it will totally uh, black out the softwares. So that's why manual testing is very important, guys. Without manual testing and critical check, we can't proceed. And it helps to uncover the defects that automated the test might miss. Sometimes the automation suite doesn't have a proper test cases, some ad hoc cases, some exploratory cases, some UAT cases. Those things we need to check it. So, main study shows that manual testing actually identifies 80% of the bugs. Automation testing is very, very like predictable, and we are automating those cases. That cases are already being passed 2 or 3 times main manual cycle. Those cases we are automating it. We're not automating that end-to-end cases from day one itself. So until and unless our software is fully developed yet, after software our software is fully functional and fully completed, until and unless we can't write that automation case. So through manual testing we can simulating the real user behavior, and through this manual testing approach we can go through the various kind of scenarios, various kind of, we can say, behavior, user behavior. So it will helpful to software quality and software reliability. Now let me talk about the black box testing. Black box testing is a very important concept. So what is the definition of black box testing? So black box testing is that we need to test the software without knowledging the internal code structure. Means like I can't care about what kind of code has written for this website or web application. I only cares about what kind of input I am giving and what kind of output I am getting. So this kind of testing is nothing but our black box testing. So mainly we are focusing the functionality of our web application and user experience by providing input and output of our web application. So there is some kind of technique use are there, like equivalent partition for input data and BVA. So these kind of techniques are there, boundary value analysis. Now let's me take a example for that. Suppose I want to test a login page. So I need to use that various valid and invalid credential, and I try to log in it. So for valid credential, it should be login, and for invalid credential, it should be block. So this is the normal functional case. Now, if I test that this thing only, that is nothing but our black box testing. Then comes under white box testing. So white box testing is another kind of testing concept, but in this concept we need to care about the internal code structure. We need to care about the logic written behind the code for this web application. So for that, a tester need to understand the software logics and software structure, software architecture. A tester should have coding knowledge, so they can understand the code properly, they can understand the logic properly. So here what a main focus is that for each and every line of code should be written in proper format, proper structure need to be followed. And so for here actually we are checking the branches of every code, and we need to check that all breakaway points is nothing but where if I did some mistake, that entire software gonna be crash. So those points we need to identify it, and we need to test it. So for that we need to use some different kind of tools and software. We need to check the path coverages for all these potential breakpoints, and we need to evaluate that potential execution routes for that. Now let me take an example that. So suppose if a software tester can test the individual code, individual logic, individual modules, and they are checking the condition statement like if else condition, ternary condition. So this kind of condition statement. So on that case, you can say that tester is going to test the white box testing. Now let me talk about unit testing. So unit testing is main purpose is that it is testing is target the individual component. Individual component means like individual unit of codes. So here we need to check the functionality isolation, we need to check the like logic behind the code, and so we can check the mainly code quality. So this testing is majority done by developers only, yet testers are not involved properly. And for some companies I have seen they have their own unit testing framework, and through that unit testing framework they are checking the softwares. And so suppose the developer want to push their code, so he or might see need to be run that unit testing framework on his local machine. So that unit testing thing can go through that every line of code, it will validate that all that checkpoints or test cases, and then once it is passed, then they can raise the PR for that code. So that is mainly the execution mostly developer will do. So one example is that suppose one Java class, if we are using Java Spring Boot application, then suppose one Java class and method is there, we need to check the output for, and we need to check the logical errors, we need to check the code quality, we need to check the security behind that code. So that nobody can be penetrate on that through that code. So those things we need to take care by unit testing. Then we have integration testing. This is the very important concept, guys. So most of the people I have seen, they are majority of times are going to test this integration part only. So what do you mean by integration? So main integration testing main goals is that suppose I have two different modules. I need to check the data flow between these two modules. The two modules are connected to each other or not. Suppose A module is there, B module is there. Now B module is dependent upon A module. Now there should be a proper integrated way where that B module can communicate with that A module, or A module can communicate with the B module, and vice versa. So this is this testing called integration testing. So majority here we need to check the communication between two modules, we need to check the data flows between two modules, we need to check the integration APIs between these two modules. So there is lots of types are there, but majorly two types of there in integration testing. One is top to bottom approach and bottom to top approach. And this big bang and sandwich in approach, this is not that much important, but this two is important. Top to bottom means like here one concept is there, that is called stubs and driver. So driver means like what is driving actually, and stubs means like what is giving. So stubs and driver, these two concepts are there. So top to bottom approach means like more main model to our stubs we are going, from driver to stubs we are going. Bottom to top means like from stubs to driver we are going. So it is started from lower level and then we are going to that upwards. That is called bottom to top approach. Top to bottom approach means it will start from top end and then will goes down until unless we can get the end point. So there is some example is there. Suppose we are checking some banking application. So we need to check the data processing. We need to check the payment processing. We need to check that like data flow is happening between these two modules for payment modules and banking account system or not. So for those testing, we need integration testing. Then we have system testing. So guys, system testing is a very important concept for a software tester. Sometimes after integration testing they have to do that system testing, because system testing we want to check the system, we want to check that end-to-end flows. So what is the scope behind the system testing? It is a verifying the end-to-end functionality. It is actually for verifying the performance, it is verifying the reliability for under real world circumstances. So we need to build that our software in such a way, we need to build that our environment in such a way where that we need to deploy that software to that particular environment, and we need to mimic that our customer flows, and we need to check the end-to-end functionality for that software. So that is called system testing. So mostly here timing is very important guys, because after successfully done integration testing we need to check that final validation before release. This thing is called system testing guys. Now example is that suppose we want to check that e-commerce website, we want to check the usability, load handling, we need to check the security, we need to check that validation for customer. So for that purpose system testing is very important. Then acceptance testing. Now acceptance testing, it is kind of mimic like testing, where that we are mimicking the customer behavior. Suppose customer is getting that software and how they gonna use it, how they gonna accept that. So for that testing is called acceptance testing. Suppose like I have created the software, but that software does meet the business requirements or not. Does the software is proper for client, or for it is proper for customer or not. So for that testing we are using acceptance testing methods. So there total three types of acceptance testings are there. One is user acceptance testing or business acceptance testing. That is kind of similar concept. So user acceptance testing is conducted by end user, and we need to validate the functionality. Most of that UAT and VAT has done by support team, or those teams who are facing the client. Then we have alpha testing and beta testing. Alpha testing mainly performed by internal staffs only, like within companies, like those can be support group, those can be tester group, those can be new joining testers. So this kind of testing is nothing but just kind of exploring the application and explore and try to run the end-to-end flows or run that acceptance behavior for the software. Beta testing is a real-time testing. So this thing is, suppose I wanna release that my software. Before releasing, I already released a pre-released version, and I already put it some beta user for that software. Now those beta user, they are testing that software, they are using that software, and they are providing the feedback. So for that feedback we are getting to know what kind of problem my software actually do had, and what kind of steps we gonna take for improving our software performance and software reliability. So, what example is like, if you are seeing that Play Store, there are lots of beta apps are available. So for accessing those beta apps, you need to be beta tester in Play Store. There is a option called beta tester. If you join there, you can get lots of different kind of beta testing thing, and you can test that application, and you can send the feedback to that respective organization. And if you are getting lucky, they will like providing gift to you, and you can enjoy that some kind of free subscription for the those softwares. So this beta testing is like a testing where that organizations are checking that our software is proper for end user or not. Then we have regression testing. The regression testing is a very important testing concept, guys. For a tester, so many times regression testing need to be do. So what is the meaning of the regression testing? Regression testing is before releasing the software, we need to retest the software. We need to check that overall functionality. It is not like system testing. Regression testing is, suppose a new module came. For that new module, does that module creates some kind of bugs in older modules or not? That thing we're checking here. So regression testing, we are actually executing system testing or end-to-end testing functionality for older uh, modules, not newer modules. So main focus is that to detect that unintended impact, or we can say newly bugs that trigger by update or not. So for that, regression testing is important. Nowadays most of the companies, they are using automated software for helping this regression testing thing. And most of that companies have manual testing team and automation testing team. Automation testing team only do that regression testing. So here main concept is coming automation and manual. So if you have automation test suite for that, then it will be super helpful for regression testing, guys. Without automation cases, it will be very difficult in regression testing. My personal experience is very like lame, guys, because my personal experience is very bad on this situation. Because regression testing without having automation testing, you can't do that regression testing properly. Sometimes something gonna miss from your end. So example is that like, suppose a functionality has came and that functionality has created a bug, hidden bug. That hidden bug already being there on older modules. So that bug comes after it. So that thing we can take it by, we can check it by regression testing. Then we have exploratory testing. So, what do you mean by exploratory? Exploratory actually suggested we are exploring the application like a unstructured way. So, it is like we are trying to use that software, we are trying to hands-on approach, where that we are jumping from one to another, one point to another point, and we are checking. We are actually not checking, we are actually like doing that, we are exploring the application. To that exploration, if we gonna get any bugs, that means we are doing exploratory testing. So main focus area is to check the edge cases. We need to check the unusual bug, means ad hoc scenario. Ad hoc means like out of box scenarios. We need to check the design flaws. Okay, we need to check that if this thing can be improved or not. So improvement also comes under exploratory testing. So there is some kind of requirements, and they are experienced tester are actually basically using this exploratory testing method because they already had a deep understanding in testing methodologies, deep understanding in domain specific, no, and they can easily check that software. Examples are there. Examples in the sense of, suppose you are getting some new system, new software. So you need to explore that software. So to get it understand. So that same thing here testers, software testers are doing. They are checking the softwares based upon their domain knowledge. So let's end up this session, guys. So what the conclusion is that, so in a nutshell, I can say that each and every manual testing has their own type. It actually serves the unique purpose, and for every testing types have their own advantages and disadvantages. We need to check that every testings, and different kind of combination we need to do, like black box, white box, acceptance, exploratory, regression testing. So through that different kind of techniques, after applying different kind of techniques, we can ensure the software quality. So mostly the software testing is a very important thing in a software development life cycle, because it helps to make the softwares proper. It helps to improve the stability, usability, and reliability for that software. It helps to validate the business cases, and also it helps to make the software in proper and robust way. So guys, I hope this video is helpful for you. I try to explain the software testing and software testing type in a very layman approach way. If this video is helpful for you, please subscribe my channel, let me to like, and please do comment if you wanna get more information from my end. So I hope this video is helpful, and thank you guys. Thanks for your valuable time, your for this video, and thanks for watching.